get you there. Arceus V-Star, Drizzile, all these different pieces eventually combine together and get you just about anything you want. And we saw in the prize cards that Ian is not going to have any issues with any of those big three in his deck.
The biggest thing for Ian too, he also plays 2 training cards instead of the Path to the Peak that a lot of players are opting to play in combination with Arceus. So even if Isaiah tries to slow things down a little bit, Ian does have a counter stadium to kind of get things going.
Yeah, we're so used to players just trying to stick that peak, and if you're not worried about it and you have the training cards, you give yourself access to all these different resources later on. And even just having that counter stadium to a Path to the Peak so that you can use your V-Star when you want to, not worry about the awkwardness of that back and forth, that can be very clutch.
Oh no, talk about awkwardness here. You got an energy from Isaiah and just a pass up the turn here.
Oh, that's not how you Pokemon.
Well, I guess the good news is you don't really fear getting knocked out from Ian's side of things. That double turbo energy is going to make that Trinity Nova deal 180 damage. So even with a choice belt, you're going to be 10 off. Ian doesn't play that Galarian Zigzagoon like Isaiah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right there. Of course, we do have the one quick shooting Inteleon, so if the choice belt were to come out, then we would see 10 short perhaps. If there wasn't an evolution, we already know that 2 V-Star are in the prizes for Isaiah. That could mean an easy knockout, and then just whatever is benched potentially for Isaiah, if he finds anything, would just be knocked out the next turn as well.
The overwhelming advantage that you have in the Arceus v Mirror match is going first. Being able to get that Starbirth off before your opponent can really do much of anything. Get that Trinity Nova and get other Pokemon charged up.
All right, well, we'll see if Ian does find them. Of course, one of those big Pokemon to look out for this turn would perhaps be that Galarian Zapdos V. Just having multiple threats on the board, especially when your opponent's just got nothing going on, has to feel good.
Well, we have a Shady Dealings from Drizzile here that's going to fetch a trainer card of Ian's choice, finds another level ball, gets another Sobble, and we're starting to see the board kind of shake together a little bit. Will we see that Starbirth here?
Oh, looks like just going to go ahead and attack for 180, and I like the split here with just going for the Sobble, having the Drizzile already. It means that you've got access to either evolution, finding you those cards that you're going to need. Ian notices he doesn't really need to have any other threats currently on board, so just going to take the damage output here now and make sure that he's got some outs, perhaps for hand disruption or anything that may come his way.
Not using the Starbirth will open up a Path to the Peak to maybe stick in play from Isaiah here after using his own Starbirth, but again, the training court might make it a little bit different, and with Drizzile most likely on the way from that Sobble, the whole deck is available to Ian.
Well, this is pretty big. Isaiah was able to find his last Arceus V-Star. He's going to find out now that it was his last one because this is his first deck search. And you know he's going to look diligently to see all of the resources available to him or not. And he is going to be able to pull off the V-Star power. This is going to give him access to some cards. He has a Path to the Peak in his hand, so he could start to lock Ian out of some potential extra resources too. And this is how you start to turn things around.
It is so tough though, because the way Isaiah and his testing group built this deck, your main attacker is Arceus V-Star. You don't have anything. There's a Crobat V you can charge to, but if you don't play any Dark Energy, it's not really going to be good. And if you don't have any other V-Star, and Isaiah's not able to take a knockout before this Arceus V-Star gets knocked out of his own, then are you going to attack with Arceus V? Like do 130, 110?
Yeah, you're not a fan of that? I don't think that's exactly what Isaiah's trying to line up here, but honestly, it gets the job done against this Arceus V-Star. If you have to two-piece it, that's where you're at right now, and he's got the map lined up for that. He just needs to find the additional Pokemon here now.
Does look like Professor's Research discarding 2 Drizzile. Oh, that is not what you want to see here.
Yep, that is not good at all. And we also see the Sobble hitting the hand as well, so insult to injury there too.
Well, at least it's another Pokemon, but it's not an Arceus that you can charge up, and with that, Isaiah's not really going to be attacking for a while here. We'll need a combination of Melanie and double turbo to maybe pull out a knockout. And here we see 210 damage on the opposing Arceus V-Star. No search, and it's rough sailing from here.
Yeah, even getting an energy down onto the board just doesn't feel great. You can, of course, maybe give yourself an energy to retreat at some points, but you're not accomplishing very much. And yeah, Isaiah notices that he's, you know what, I'm going to need all these resources later on. Let's just get through.
Training court right away bumps that path to the peak. That Starburst ability is now able to be used, and it's the first thing Ian wants to do. Search that deck for 2 cards.
Yeah, I feel like Ian was definitely hinting at this when he didn't use his V-Star ability on the last turn. It almost definitely meant that he had Stadium ready to go, and he was prepared for this counter turn.
Looks like maybe quick shooting Inteleon is one of the cards. I didn't see the other card there, but getting that quick shooting down early is very beneficial, and there you go. Galarian Zapdos being other card, 8 of toughness, and this is the kind of combo we see against Arceus V-Decks, and it's really just almost impossible to deal with, especially the board state right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely nasty, because not only are you going to have this big threat, you don't even have to worry about the energies. They're coming down from the Arceus V-Star very soon, so Ian's going to have everything that he needs. He's also got a ton of board development right now in with that Inteleon. This is just going to be a disaster for Isaiah to figure out. He doesn't have anything going on his board. Who's going to attack next turn? It's rhetorical. He's going to lose.
Sobble to the active, 2 Drizzile already in the discard, and looking at Isaiah's hand, there's a few energy, big charm, not really much to deal with, and wow, yeah, those prizes, very bad, but even with those prizes, I don't think this game was kind of winnable.
Yeah, this is so tough, and for Isaiah, now you start to think about the strategy piece of it. He's got 28 match points. He's probably looking for a tie. If he plays a really long game too, and he ends up coming out on top with against Ian, who has one of those 3 big pieces prize, that's a way that he can come out and win this game. It's very hard to win a match like this when you have the cards stacked against you like this. Of course, Isaiah's a great player. He could probably figure this out if he needed to. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen in game 1.
Oh, not at all. Quick Ball discarding the double turbo energy, gets the Arceus V, but with 2 Sobble down on Ian's side of things, he has to have a way to search for that boss's orders to take that knockout, and it's really just a ton of pressure. That Galarian Zapdos V, 3 energy on it, not even really playing around. Like its ability, just like, I'm going to charge up 4 energy on this thing eventually, and it's just going to knock out anything you'll put in the active.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about path with that card. You can just have all of the energies manually attached at this point. You'll be fine.
Well, there is the attachment of the water, big charm on that Arceus V on the bench. Training court brings back another water, path to the peak end of Marnie. So a little bit of disruption here. That's all really Isaiah can hope for. It's still not the best.
I mean, he's doing everything he needs to. He has the Sobble that is likely going to hit the discard pile on the following turn. Now he's just thinking ahead. This is a pretty nice card to find off of Marnie and that Bidoof. Maybe that starts to open up the draws, and then he can start piecing together this really awkward puzzle with Arceus Vs.
Yeah, but I don't know how you're going to deal with that 250 HP Galarian Zapdos V on the bench. It's kind of just sitting there saying, hey, did you forget about me?
You ever had that exam at the end of classes, and you're just like, you know what, we'll deal with it when we get there? That's currently right now. We're reading the syllabus. Okay, we don't have any time to think about stuff like that.
Oh, what a Marnie from Ian here has double Drizzile, finds the energy search to get that 4th energy on the Zapdos, and the boss's orders to bring up the Arceus. We're gonna see a retreat from the active and a clean knockout.
All right, we're taking the final, and it is definitely a big one.
And yeah, there is no attackers for Isaiah's side of things. I mean, you can roll out with Bidoof for 10 with a double turbo. It seems,
you know, you're thinking outside the box right now. That's what we like to see.
At least do it for the fans. You know?
Oh, of course.
Everyone loves beating.
All right. Isaiah doesn't
Yeah.
care about fans. Like I see.
And knocked him out.
That's gonna be game one for Ian Robb, and that's